Hello everyone, my name is Allison Gagnon. I teach here at UNC School of the Arts, and my job has a couple of things attached to it. My field is collaborative piano, which may even be a new term for you. It's a version of piano that involves piano accompanying. So I work with other people, instrumentalists and vocalists, and we talk about collaboration because we're really sharing the music. So what I'd like to talk about today with you all is a couple of aspects of sharing the music as musicians. I'd like to start from the standpoint of pianists, student pianists, maybe some of you are there among you, that are used to not sharing the music. We have everything in our hands and we don't need anybody else to complete the picture. But what I'd like to talk about with that is how musical texture works. Now that might be a new term also. I like to talk about musical texture as a way of imagining music in different layers. So pianists are used to doing everything kind of in a bit of a vertical way, but every other musician has a line. A singer has a line, a violinist has a line, a double bass player has a line, and even a trombone player has a line. And I'd like to use it as an example of the layers in music, a piece by Schumann. It's the first of the scenes from childhood. And it goes like this. This is just the first few measures. Now, I love to use this example with my students in an introductory class I do in collaborative piano, because to me it has the basic elements of a musical texture. It has a principal melody, or a primary line at the top. So I'm playing that with the top of my right hand, but it could easily be given away to an instrumentalist or a singer to play. And then there's a pretty good bass line that goes with that, which, if this were arranged for another instrument, it could be any of our lower register instruments, like a bassoon or a cello. And then there's what our class started to call the middle stuff, which is this. Now, middle stuff is not really a technical term, but in this case it is in the middle. And we use that term sort of affectionately to talk about anything that's in the musical texture that is not the primary line or the most significant partner to that primary line, but the material, like it's a figuration or a cool rhythmic activity that's going on, and that gives us a feeling of the flow or the spirit of the piece, the atmosphere. Now, if you're a pianist and you have something like this to play, it's a little bit of a tricky juggling act because we have two hands and there's three lines. So when I use this example to talk about musical layers, I like to draw attention to the fact that Schumann wrote this, and it's shared between the hands. Now, if I play that just by itself, I can make it sound in its own kind of place in the sound world. But what happens when you play it with the other parts is that two notes are in the left hand and one is in the right. So for the pianists in the crowd, this can really happen very easily. So you get this. And why does that happen? Well, because the thumb of the human hand doesn't really want to behave. It likes to take the weight of your whole hand because of the opposable thumb. And so we actually have to override that as pianists if we want the balance to sound good. So for pianists, that's the challenge with dealing with the layering. Now, if this music was then arranged for piano plus oboe or flute or singer, then the pianist would probably play only this. And our partner, we'd give them the line to play with us, the melodic line. And so the trick for pianists when they're learning how to collaborate with their musical partners is to learn that the right hand is no longer carrying the tune. Because we spend a lot of time in our training learning how to project the top line. Like our right hand almost always, very much of the time, has the main line. So if not attended to, a pianist might do. Which sounds sort of cool, but if you put that with the melody, it sounds like this. And then that's the point at which somebody might say, piano's too loud. So it's not a question of the loudness so much as it is understanding what the texture is about, where the main line is, who has what, and what you do with it. Now, just thinking of young pianists who might be listening right now, watching this video, another thing to just keep in mind when you have a chance to play with a partner is that the pedal on the piano is a tool that can be really handy or really sort of sabotage what you're doing with your partner. And I'll tell you why. When a partner is playing with us, they can do the things, all of them can do the things that we can't do at the piano, to do with sustaining sound and vibrating on a sound. So we try to make a connected line, but it's only a figment of everybody's imagination. We can't really do that. So what we do is we try to enhance the resonance by using the pedal. So the difference between my playing this, or this, and then my doing this, so the pedal enhances the resonance. So I'll just plant the seed of the idea that when you play with somebody else, pedaling more cleanly will really make the blend sound really beautiful, because our partner is doing the sustaining, our partner is making the shape and the sound, and we don't have to work so hard to do that in the mix. By the same token, when our partner is with us, we can give more of our left hand than we might if we were playing all by ourselves. So just to recap, the idea of musical texture is one that solo pianists can think of, all the layers in their playing. And we can play with the balance within our parts, and we also can imagine sharing that texture with somebody else and making an arrangement and having somebody else play the melody line, and we'll be responsible for the rest. And having an idea of who has what allows us to have the most beautiful blend between our parts. Have fun.